Thank you. And now we move on to reporting restrictions for deceased victims. And I call Amendment 124 in the name of Ruth Maguire, grouped with amendments as shown in the grouping. And I would like to remind members of the preemptions in this group. Ruth Maguire to move Amendment 124 and speak to all amendments in the group, please.
Thank you, Convener. If initially I can just lay out what my amendments intend to do. They can be grouped into four main categories. They intend to extend reporting restrictions that the bill would apply in respect of victims aged under 18, so that they also apply to deceased underage victims. To give the court the same power to extend reporting restrictions in respect of an underage victim, alive or dead, as the bill confers in respect of an underage offender. To provide a mechanism by which offenders, whether suspected, alleged or convicted, live victims or the close family of deceased victims, can request an order requiring the takedown of information that would have been covered by a reporting restriction while an offence was suspected or during proceedings. And to provide a mechanism by which offenders, whether suspected, alleged or convicted, victims or the close family of deceased victims, can request an order reinstating in whole or part reporting restrictions. And I move the amendments in my name. Folk will have seen the open letter sent from 65 families urging change, but committee member colleagues will remember that it was a letter from an individual family member that first took our attention to this area. It laid out the significant impact continued and traumatising press and social media coverage had on them, and asked MSPs to be mindful of the impact of our words and to not name victims when discussing this topic. Since then, Victim Support have led the way in campaigning for change, and I commend them for their work in ensuring that the voice of victims have been heard. I fully understand that this is not a straightforward matter to solve. I understand that in legislation we have to be alert to unintended consequences, and I would also acknowledge that the committee has not taken extensive evidence on this matter. But what I can be absolutely certain of is that there is a need to address this, not just to discuss it further, but to actually address it. The evidence that we do have for change is compelling. A parent of a child a parent who lost their child to murder said, and if I may quote them directly, "When my child died as a result of murder, every detail of their life, their siblings and school was in the public domain. This was put under further microscopic detail during the trial, while the perpetrator was afforded significant privacy and protection. The media intrusion which followed my child's death further compounded the trauma I was already experiencing. My children cannot be children because of the constant fear of what the media will print next. It still goes on to this day, and I am constantly worried when and how my other children will find out more distressing details about their siblings' death." She goes on, I've had several articles and pieces of inaccurate information removed from the mainstream press and social media, but the coverage feels never ending. Every day, I'm constantly reminded about the traumatic nature of my child's death. This could have been prevented had my child's name not automatically been released to the public when they died. I would acknowledge and thank the Minister for her words in terms of further discussion and engagement. And she mentioned the round table, which I think would be hugely important. What will be crucial in that, though, I think, is that the voice of victims are at that table. And I would seek reassurance that those with direct experience of the trauma that this causes to surviving siblings will be part of the discussion. Absolutely.
In terms of the round table, because we appreciate this is an important part of this discussion, would you look for equitability in terms of representation of victims as well as the accused, rather than simply representation?
I think that's a hugely important point. I was going to come on to say that the committee have heard from an academic who gave very helpful specific reasons around the challenges. There was one sentence about the human cost of this. I think that we want the expertise at that table, but we must never forget the people who are affected. Everybody dealing with this topic needs to be looking in the eye of the families who are affected. So I would seek assurance from the Minister on that matter. And I can leave my remarks there for now, Convener.
Thank you.